Good evening, everybody. Post-fight pod, Steve Wellings here. We've just witnessed Oleksandr Usyk defeating Dereck Chisora on points. Aussie's on the call with me, so is Andy and Smido. No sign of anybody in the chat just yet, but no doubt the thousands will be streaming in soon. What do you think about the cards then? First of all, Andy, let's get stuck straight into it. 117, 112, I think was the one. 115, 113 times 2. Were the 115, 113s a little bit narrow for your liking, Andy, or do you think that was okay?
The 117, 111 for Usyk. I see Eddie Hearns. Obviously, you got Tony saying he had basically Dell dominating. Eddie then tweets out that he's got it, close. I think at one point Eddie had it. Was it 5-3 for Dell? I think he had it.
Yeah.
Right toward the end, I kind of split it. So obviously he's got a draw on that. Dell, I'm disappointed in Usyk. I wanted to see him get the stoppage and stuff because Chisora, we know what it is. He came out there and he gasped, but he gave a lot early doors, like the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then you could see it. Usyk actually just started backing him up. Usyk hurt him with that leg, was the right hook, 7th round, and he's backing up, and he went back to the corner in a horrible state. He was, by that point on, he was kind of breathing heavy. I thought Usyk was how do we say it? He was boxing well. He was sneaky with the shots to the kind of solar plexus, kind of like the chest area and stuff like that. Right hook. He was. I thought he hurt Dell at least twice that I could visibly see anyway. Dell was giving him problems early doors. He's kind of like he's twitching. He's kind of moving. He's kind of bringing the jab up at kind of awkward angles and that as well. Turning southpaw, which he's done before. Just he's doing everything he can actually, to be honest with you. And other than that, it's a good win. The other thing as well is, I suppose, you can look at the weight. What is that? 40 pounds probably. Plus you got 24 hours rehydration, feeding time, and that possibly maybe 50 pounds on top of that. But at the end of the day, Usyk's no a power puncher. Again, as I say, I reiterate, I'm disappointed it didn't stop him because I thought if he maybe could up the work rate a little bit, especially after the 7th and stuff, maybe maintained a bit of a bit of combination and stuff, he might have kind of maybe had the referee force the issue, maybe kind of stop him and stuff, because I thought at times some of the shots, it's that type of fight, whereas it could really just take like whatever's left of you right out of you, or even just get in your prime a wee bit, because it was it was heavy shots inside, up top and stuff like that, but he will definitely struggle usually against Fury. I think Joshua will probably give him problems in that. I think if he sits behind the jab, but he's going to have problems with that, and especially if Joshua catches him, I think he might react differently. Chisora, we know, isn't really a big punching heavyweight. Usyk's shown, Ozzy said it himself during the meeting that Gaziev hits as any heavy as any heavyweight, and he showed it tonight that dealing with the kind of trash he had to deal with and stuff, but I don't think Usyk was kind of really bothered. I think there might be a wee problem in the left hand. Actually, I seen him kind of shaking it as well during the fight. So I don't know
I saw that.
The left hand maybe went. I'm not too sure. We'll maybe wait and see about that. But at the end of the day, won the fight. Disappointed he didn't get the stoppage and stuff. Dell, I don't know what he's going to do at this point really after, but he hung his cell out there, by the way.
He'll be back on pay-per-view, Andy. Come on.
Well, probably. I mean, if Eddie's got a draw, then obviously he's going to have him back again at some point. Throw a couple of tables, man. We'll be all good, But all in all, as I say, he won the fight. That's all I can say. He'll have problems against Fury. He'll have problems against Joshua, I think, but I think he's got it in him, Usyk, to win a version of the belt, shall we say. But Fury, forget about it.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sam Shepherd's there. Honestly, Eddie couldn't split them, lads. He says, Amit Sharma says, had it 116, 112 to Usyk. Not sure Usyk is a problem to the top tier of the heavyweights. Let's have a look through the boys, see who else is knocking about. Jason Cheel says, a great engine, Usyk. If he really put it on Dell, he could have stopped him. I don't know, I think he was struggling a bit himself in those last few rounds, Usyk, maybe feeling the strength of a heavyweight, although Dell's quite small, isn't he? 10-2 Usyk pissed it, says John Kearns. Shout out to Michael McAway, he's hanging around there as well. Danny Young's on the call, says Rapping Rob Kelly. Hopefully get round to everybody if we can. Smido, a couple of thoughts from me. Wellings, I thought early on this could be Usyk's Orlando Salido fight, maybe, for want of a better expression. We saw Lomachenko coming unstuck against Lopez. another thought I had early on was if Usyk can maintain that pace and that level of movement and momentum for 12 rounds, fight after fight, he's going to be a problem for any heavyweight. And then the last 3 rounds came and he was looking quite knackered and Dell was coming on a little bit. What were your overriding impressions, Smid?
I thought Del Boy took the first 2 rounds and possibly one other, so I can't see the 115 to 113. I can't see that. That's too close. I think Chisora was winning 3 rounds maximum. I mean, yeah, it wasn't long into the fight until we was hearing this is a pay-per-view main event, and we're hearing stuff like Chisora is giving everything and he's trying so hard, and we heard the word brave after about 8 rounds. That is not good enough for the top of a bill of a pay-per-view, but that's possibly for tomorrow night. Yeah, I thought that like you say, Steve Usyk, just using the footwork, he's going to be able to outbox, frustrate, and win rounds against some of the giants of the division, but it's just a question of the power. I know that's an obvious one, you know, coming up from size and power often go hand in hand in boxing for obvious reasons, and coming up from cruiserweight, he's clearly not going to carry as much power as the other boys in there, but that's a problem for him to solve. You know, assuming that he's going to stay around at heavyweight. But I thought after about 5 or 6 rounds, probably in the 6th round, Chisora was visibly blowing, you know, pretty much as we expected. And I think from round 7 onwards, Chisora was just a high-level sparring partner, to be honest. He was swinging wildly and missing regularly. He was crossing his feet, plodding, blowing out his arse. And, you know, it was a good test for Usyk in terms of his second fight at heavyweight. I do agree with Andy a little bit. I was expecting more. I bet as such. I thought that Usyk would stop him. Possibly not with a poleaxing knockdown, but you know, pepper in his face, Chisora's face swelling, he's knackered, he's on his stool, someone waves it off. That's what I thought would happen. It obviously didn't. I thought, to be honest, Chisora got off to a really good start. It was fully what was expecting. He came out of the gates quick, but you know, on the Sky commentary, for once, I thought that the Brit, or the so-called Brit, wasn't getting as much credit as he deserved early on from Mr. Bean and the boys. Yeah, I thought he landed some good shots early doors. I think that Usyk was. I thought that he would mid rounds. He was starting to invest in the body a little bit, throwing them straight lefts down to the body. I thought that might be something he would continue, but he kind of didn't. And then as soon as Chisora started slowing down, like say from the 6th round onwards, that's when Usyk can get on his jab and create the angles and throw more shots. Yeah, nothing unexpected happened. Maybe we could have got a little bit more from Usyk, but yeah, onwards and upwards, and he will cause trouble for the other guys in the division. But will he be able to win 7 rounds against Fury, Joshua, Wilder, etc.? Not sure. Be interesting to find out.
Interesting indeed. Smido's here on this Saturday evening stroke Sunday morning now. 12,121 in the chat. The chat room's absolutely flying by. Can barely keep up on this evening here, Aussie. Tony Bellew, you know what? I think he's an absolute disgrace. I know this isn't going to be news to anybody, and you can say, well, he's entitled to... I think he's deliberately misleading people. What are Sky doing here? What message are they putting across, right? I know people say, oh, it's his mate. You know, he's shouting all the time, and he's giving a false impression of the fight. I mean, you know, we make this comparison all the time. If it was the football, would people be allowed, you know, are you allowed to deliberately mislead people? There's thousands of people, we can assume here, buying a pay-per-view tonight, and they want sort of, doesn't have to be neutral all the time. You know, you can have a bit of enthusiasm. You can support your mates if you want, but that's not neutral analysis. That's not balanced analysis. He's not telling you that Chisora's won the first 4 rounds because he believes that. He's telling it because he's spinning a narrative, and he's actively bullshitting people who have paid money tonight. They are lying to you. Absolutely fucking lying to you.
You've said everything that I would say, Steve. You've said exactly everything I would say.
Savage Steve Wellens is rich.
That's a good brand, that is.
It is true. It was a disgrace what Bellew was saying. To say he was dominating the fight after what? What did he have it? 4-1? Something like that? I'm like, get stuffed, Bellew. And he's a cheerleader. And what you find with Sky's pundits is they're not pundits, the salesmen. They're there to sell fights, and I wouldn't mind as well, but we all have eyes and we can watch the fight, and it's like you're watching it, but they're telling you something different. They're telling you what they want to believe, and we go back again, and it's the case of, well, you've never boxed, you don't have an opinion. Well, if that's my opinion, if I've boxed and I have an opinion that Dereck Chisora was dominating a fight he was getting battered in, then I don't need to have fucking boxed, do I? It's fucking crazy. I had Usyk winning 9-3, 10-2, 9-3. Thought Chisora gave it a go in the first couple. Bulldoze forward, looked sloppy at times, but Usyk certainly settled, and I thought he settled quite quickly. And he had a big 7th round. He hurt Chisora towards the end of the fight, end of the round. Certainly wobbled him. And then it's like, I don't know if that's when he hurt his hand, but he seemed to just take his foot off the pedal a little bit. Kind of waited, for a final Chisora onslaught. But Chisora was gassed. He was shattered, absolutely shattered. I thought it was a decent enough display by Usyk. I'm not going to stand here and slag him off. I thought it was solid. He will benefit from that. What was their weight difference? 40 pounds. He will benefit from that fight going into it. Does he beat Tyson Fury? No, but I don't think any heavyweight does, to be honest. Does he beat Anthony Joshua? I certainly think that's the fight that he can win. We've seen Joshua fatigue before in fights, and we're not, just talking Ruiz. He was knackered against. I think it was Takam was one. And Usyk's footwork will always keep him in the fight. He's not a one-punch knockout artist or a concussive puncher, but he's clearly got power. And look, Chisora's no slouch. He can take a shot. I think that's one thing Chisora's always had. He's had a very decent chin. Tyson Fury didn't stop, he didn't knock him out. It was a sustained beating that got him out there. I think there's only probably Dillian White and David Hay who've really, iced him, if you were to say. So I think Usyk will learn a lot from that. I hope the hand injury isn't a bad hand injury. And let's go for next year. It's going to be difficult now because he's technically the mandatory challenger for the WBO, and that's been called. Now you've got Joshua fighting Pulev in 4 weeks, and then technically by that he should be fighting. He should be fighting Usyk after that. So something's got to be decided if we're going to see Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua next. If that can't be worked out, then I'm all for seeing Usyk Joshua, because that's a hell of a fight as well. And it's a fight that, look, Sky may talk it up now, by saying, yes, oh yeah, Joshua will take that now. But Joshua's not going to employ tactics of bulldozing forward and be willing to take shots to try and land one on Usyk. Joshua's been hurt before off Andy Ruiz when he didn't really expect to be. And I think Usyk's got the quality and the precision to basically take up that yet again.
That wasn't me, by the way. That was Spiddle, probably. That wasn't me. But Steve, see, answer the real point in the question. Actually, the real part of it. Tony Bellew has got to be absolutely ecstatic that he doesn't need to answer to UCAD.
I think they say you, as in me. You'd be glad of that too. Yeah, sorry.
Jesus, go ahead, man. I was just saying, look, he's up there. He wants to be left alone. He's up there in front of the camera. He's ashen faced. His cholesterol's through the fucking roof. Right? He's clearly passing the bottle of vodka. Glenn's vodka, probably. It's probably Kunsel he's actually snorting as well.
He's been
with Eddie Hearn, who's got a fucking draw. A fucking draw.
He looks like he's storing nuts for winter in them cheeks, man. What's he been up to? He was on a diet.
What was his final card, just for curiosity?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, my word.
Well, he said he can't.
He had it a draw. He had it a draw.
Who did? Tony did.
Oh, Bellew. I didn't hear Bellew. I heard...
Eddie, I don't know.
Eddie had it a draw.
Right, Danny's on the call. I want to get Danny in. Yeah, a couple of things that I noticed as well. I'm sure everybody else did too. Chisora's decision to go southpaw. Whenever Chisora got backed up, I thought it was going to be the end for him, but it wasn't. What about the Joshua fight, Danny? Welcome to you this evening. Thank you for joining us. The Joshua fight is actually quite interesting, I think, because if Usyk's moving around like a madman, circling the ring for 6 rounds, you would imagine Joshua starting to tire a little bit. I mean, obviously AJ punches harder. We know he's the much bigger man. But tonight actually gives me a bit of hope for Usyk in that Joshua fight. I think that Joshua could be blowing out of his hole and it could become a really interesting fight the longer it goes.
Evening, gents. How are we doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good. I think if we get the AJ that turned up against Klitschko, then he could be in serious trouble. I think, heavy, slouchy, kind of trying to get tight and throw his punches in. I think he has trouble against Usyk in that. So by all means, I think that's something that we could look forward to. But I honestly can't see it right now. I think there's only two ways going for Usyk, and that's either a massive payoff to step aside for a Tyson Fury AJ fight, or as Eddie's seen it, a draw. He's going to maybe get the rematch or step him up against Dave Allen. I can't see any other way for it, to be honest with you.
Fucking Dave Allen.
Dave Allen's got unfinished business, Danny. What about Lovejoy?
He needs a payday, doesn't
he? He definitely needs something, mate, because he's been all over the camera this weekend, like begging and stealing, isn't he? So poor old Dave Allen. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly think that Usyk's going to have to wait. I can't see an opportunity for him to take AJ on next. I honestly don't. I think Eddie's going to put some silver in his palm and tell him to bide his time. And I think Usyk will be kind enough to let that happen. I don't know about you, Slot, but yeah, I certainly think that'll be the case.
Stay on the call, Danny, for as long as you wish. Good to have you with us. We seem to have lost Smido, unfortunately. He's lost in general, that fella. Pray for him. Pray for Rapping Rob Kelly. He's out there battling the elements at 12:20, maybe. Who knows? How are you, Roberto? Keeping well?
New phone, too.
Tell you what, right? Got the new phone.
Snip that! Crystal! Oh,
but
champagne!
There's actually a fucking hurricane going on right now, and I'm afraid to fucking move from where I am. It's brutal out here.
Yeah, it's bad here today, mate. Like, I had a trampoline miss my car by like fucking millimeters today. Swear to God.
I'm half a bottle of gin in as well, by the way. So I'm flying out here in the fucking darkness and the fucking the wind. But I was a little bit underwhelmed by Usyk, not by his performance, but because we all expected so much of him moving up to heavyweight. I thought Chisora was there for the taking after the 8th round, and he couldn't get the foot on the gas and make a statement and stop him. Thought that would have been a big statement for heavyweight. But after tonight, I don't believe he belongs at heavyweight. The 3 stone, 6 pounds is a lot in elite boxing. 3 stone is way more. If he goes up the weight, I'm not even in agreement with the fact that I think that he gives Joshua problems. I think Joshua smashed him to bits, man. After 6, he's too big. He's fucking 6'6". He's 18 stone or whatever. He's too small for the top level of heavyweights at the moment, man. Just too small.
Rob Kelly sounding beautiful out there. If that's not worth a super chat pledge, I don't know what it is. Get the money flowing in, boys. Come on, we're all on fire for you this evening, this morning, whatever it is. Let's fly around the boys again, then back to you, Andy. Usyk, constant movement. We've mentioned the stamina issues there towards the end, which were inevitable. He put on so much weight, and that Chisora's power shots were always just glancing, just falling a little bit too short there. I'm going to give Chisora credit. I mean, obviously, the guy never stopped throwing. Fair play to him. I thought he was done after about 8 rounds. I thought he was going to be hit by one of those sort of frozen in time shots, a Povetkin against David Price type shot. Usyk was going to pile it on him and get him out then about 8 or 9 rounds. That's what I was watching tonight, thinking was going to happen. It absolutely didn't. Combination of Usyk slowing down, Chisora keeping his work rate going. Fair play to Chisora, but he didn't do enough to win for me. I mean, we can pat somebody in the back, can't we, and say, well done, Dereck, without having to say it has to be a draw all the time, without having to say that he won. I don't think he won in the slightest, but he did himself credit. He did himself proud.
He did, as I say, well, you said it yourself, there's a good chance he's going to, he will become, if he wants to keep fighting good and well, and he's going to get opportunities and stuff. And I tell you what, he'd probably be the ideal opponent for like Hergovic when we're talking about it during the week and stuff, listening to the YouTube video on the heavyweight scene that we did there during the week and that, he probably would be he would definitely be the best opponent that Hergovic has faced anyway. So there's that potential fight if you want to make it. But Usyk, yeah, but as I say, it'll be interesting to know if anything comes out about the hand problem. As I say, as I was saying to Dave Lee and that on Twitter and that, and then the WhatsApp chat, it'd been good to see Usyk just kind of up the pace a wee bit. Obviously, if the hands went and he can understand him being conservative, in the days, but he's been out the ring now for over a year. He's got some rounds in, hard rounds probably as well. He's asked questions. So at the end of the day, look, I've missed the post interview, actually, the post fight interview, but apparently he's given himself a grade and a 3 out of 10, which kind of says it all. Actually, really, I think he kind of knows himself probably a wee bit better required. As I say, he's give up the best part of £40-50 the other night, probably as well. No detracting for the fact is for me that Chisora is what he is. He can be crude and stuff like that. He was trying to kind of like grapple inside and stuff, and you know, a couple of shots behind the head, maybe kind of a couple of rabbit punches and that as well. He's got to do what he's got to do to try and win the fight, basically, because obviously, I mean, he was winging up with shots, loading up. He's missing it. You know, usually it was kind of like, you know, rolling underneath shots and that as well. He was slipping under jabs. He was coming round about Chisora and that, especially with kind of wild way shots and stuff. So, suppose at the end of the day, he's probably made the kind of calculated decision. Look, this is heavyweight boxing. I make a mistake here. You know, I'm still fighting what is Del Boy? What was it, 17, 18 stone? Maybe slightly less than that. It's still a kind of 16, 17 stone guy throwing punches at you. So maybe if his hands went, he's maybe said to himself, right, okay, just box, and I'll see it out. And in the end, you know, to me anyway, he ran away a kind of comfortable winner. People are saying in the chat and that 114, 140. People have got a draw in the chat, and obviously maybe listening to Eddie and that and Tony, but.
No, I think he won 4 or 5 rounds, Chisora, to be honest with you. I think there's some rounds Usyk took off, but I hear you on him getting over the line, but what does it do for his stock at heavyweight? You know what I mean?
It does nothing. It does nothing for him because really, even Johnny Nelson's saying it tonight that as well. He says he's a good fighter and that. It's not so much like Thomas Adamek coming up to heavyweight when he fought light heavy, cruiserweight, and then came right up. I mean, usually as a big dude, I mean, I stood next to the guy and stuff, but he's not that fucking big, shall we say. He's clearly going to have to rely on his movement, and that's the thing. His legs is going to be the key thing for him to be a success at heavyweight. I think he will win a belt, but it'll be after Fury. It's when the belts fragment, and you know, if Fury beats Joshua, like we mentioned and stuff, to me, I think Joshua retires, so does Fury. And then after that, he'll maybe pick up the scraps. I think outside the Fury, definitely. Joshua, I give him a chance purely for the movement and his skills and stuff. As I say, Joshua, he's shown problems with the gas tank and stuff. He might be cautious. Who else we got? I don't think he's got anything to stress about outside of those two. Maybe Wilder because he's got the punch. Other than that, I don't think he's got anything to fear really. And again, another matter is his body's now showing signs of kind of like, you know, breaking down. He's had problems with the shoulder. He's had surgery and stuff like that as well. He's 32, lengthy amateur career and that as well. So you wonder as well as he continues against these natural bigger guys, is the body going to start breaking down? And he's got more camps to put in and stuff like that. He's going to put in our 12, 16-week camp in for these fights. You just don't know what problems he's going to have along the way. And as I say, the left hand, giving it a wee shake, maybe it's a problem. We'll wait and see.
Kevin Chase in the chat saying, did anybody pay for that shite? I think we pretty much know what the answer is to that. The main thing was Usyk won. I'm not saying that because I'm a Usyk fan or anything, but let's be honest, we didn't want Chisora to win. That would have been a waste of everybody's time. We know he's got a shelf life. He would have exposed Usyk. That would have been fair enough. Usyk won. He got the job done. He looked okay. He ticked some boxes, didn't tick some others. He rolls on. He's still a threat. He's still a problem to anybody in the heavyweight division. The right man won. I think that's the overriding. That's my feelings from the evening. Danny Young, you wanted to mention the £20 that you did or did not lay down this evening. Do discuss.
Well, no, I didn't pay 20 quid for it. What I did do is I did pay £4 something because I don't have Sky or anything. So basically, I've paid for like a 24-hour thing so I can get Arsenal, Man United tomorrow and the other football and bits and bobs like that. But yeah, I mean, if you paid 20 quid for that, fuck me, it's just deplorable. And like, I can't. I mean, you've got Lee Selby boring me to death. No offense, that fight was. Is it Gambosta or whatever his name is? He was good. He come forward, but I mean Lee Selby, I expect better from him. And then obviously the main event, I was disappointed with Usyk. I was with Andy. I was kind of hoping he would have stopped him, and he didn't. Obviously something wrong with the left hand, as you boys have quite mentioned, because I thought the left hook was there open all day for it. But yeah, I mean, even the women boxing, I was really struggling. I was trying to. I mean, that Savannah Marshall, she looks like she can box a bit, you know. I was trying my hardest to try and focus on that, and I couldn't. I really couldn't. It was tough viewing, put it that way.
Yeah, I'm going to go in on the women later, to be honest with you. I don't mind women's boxing. I'm not opposed to it because it's like women boxing or anything, but that was shit, man. Some of that stuff shouldn't have been anywhere near flipping fish, chips and scraps. If anybody remembers that, let her know in a pay-per-view. Right, Ozzy, each person, go around you first of all. Let's do a Usyk tick box check, as I just mentioned there. So you can pick up on any elements and tell me whether it was a pass or a fail then. So we've got Usyk's power, chin, stamina, his strategy or game plan, and his size. So what's he passed and what's he failed on in those things? Power, chin, stamina, strategy and game plan, or size. Not an exact science. Just pick up on what you're impressed with and what he needs to work on.
I think he proved he's got a chin. Like I said, Chisora's by no means a huge puncher, but he's no slouch. He's not, like a feather fist. And look, you get it by anybody at 18 stone, it's gonna do some damage. And I thought he passed that with flying colours, Usyk. I thought size. Look, there's heavyweights that have been smaller than him. Deontay Wilder boxed Tyson Fury in the first fight, and he was something like 4 pound lighter than what Oleksandr Usyk was tonight. The only difference is that Wilder's got a huge right hand, which is an eliminator, but Usyk's got movement and boxing skill, which, look, 9 times out of 10 you probably prefer. I'm going to pray. I think there was a lot to like about him tonight. It's too easy to criticise somebody because he didn't get Chisora out of that. I said last week it will be a case of he will not knock him out. It'll be a sustained beatdown from where the referee will step in to keep Chisora for another day, or they'll retire him on his stool. I didn't see Chisora, out flat on his back type of thing. You can maybe say, did he lack a bit of killer instinct after the 7th, where I thought Chisora was vulnerable, and did he wait a little bit? But you don't know if that left hand was a problem, and it went, and look, that's his power shot. But no, I think there was a lot to like about him, and I think he answered a hell of a lot of questions tonight. After that Chaz Witherspoon performance, which is fair to say was lacklustre, and we didn't really learn anything about that. I think tonight, look, you know what Chisora is. He's around European level, gatekeeper type of thing. And bar the first couple of rounds where Chisora gave it a go, for me, Usyk wasn't really in any trouble. He still showed he's got the speed, the movement, his legs are there. He's certainly got power as well. Like I said, he did hurt Chisora, and Chisora's got a chin. So yeah, he's got nobody to fear. I don't think anybody beats Tyson Fury. But for the rest of them, I would take Usyk without a doubt. I mean, if I run down the box rate list now, you would take Usyk against Wilder. Would be interesting, but you would like to think he would completely outbox Wilder, and if he can avoid the right hand, he wins. Anthony Joshua, that's a winnable fight. Alexander Povetkin, more than winnable. Fat Andy Ruiz, more than winnable. Michael Hunter, Dillian White, certainly more than winnable. Luis Ortiz, more than winnable. Kubrat Pulev, more than winnable. We're listing off names there, and Usyk doesn't fear anybody anyway, and he's not even going to be looking at the likes of fucking Dillian White and Luis Ortiz. He's looking at Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua. He doesn't fear anybody, and I think basically more heavyweights will fear fighting Usyk than he will fighting them.
Okay, everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. Hatton Bomb says, what StreamYard that Steve keeps posting? That's the link, Hatton Bomb. Why don't you click it and come on and give us some knowledge? If anybody is in the chat wants to join us, like Danny Young, friend of the pod, esteemed colleague, has done tonight, then you're more than welcome to jump on the call. If you have Chisora winning, come on and tell us why. If you want to troll, come on and tell us why. Let's hear you. Get out the basement. The basement dwellers like us. They always call us basement dwellers, Rob. Have you ever met anybody with a basement in your house? That's the question, isn't it? I've never known anybody with a basement.
I slept in a fucking basement on tour in Canada one time. I thought I was staying at a hotel. I turned up and the motherfucker that picked me up brought me to his house to do a song with him that wasn't enforced by any means. And I was indulging in some of the local festivities. All of a sudden, hours passed. I was like, where's my hotel? He was like, actually, you're staying here in the basement on this air mattress. I got the next...
Was that Fritzl?
Well, I haven't, my theory on Fritzl anyway. I reckon the wife was in on it, because I can't even go to the shop for milk without my missus ringing me, let alone being my own fucking sex dungeon in the garage, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? So anyway, I digress. Where were we?
Give us the Usyk tick box. Maybe the Fritzl tick box tomorrow night, Rob. Power, chin, stamina, strategy, and size.
No, listen. I love Usyk. I think he's a character. I think he's a fantastic technician. I think he's everything good about the sport. Came to the press conference with the hurl up Wexford, got beaten today in the fucking hurling. But anyway, I'm a little bit let down by the performance in terms of his rep coming into it. You know, he's the unified cruiserweight champ. We're all expecting him to light up the division. We're all expecting him to cause Joshua problems. He's too small at 15 stone. I don't give a fuck. I agree with Andy. He might win a version of the title after Fury's gone. But even AJ, I don't see him causing AJ problems, man. I think if AJ could jab with him for 6 rounds and get the right hand over the top, he'd feel it. He's Dereck Chisora was 18 stone something tonight, 18 stone plus, and Dereck Chisora went life and death with Dillian White. He's a B-level guy at this stage. He's 36, he's shot, and I'm not taking away from, I know he got the job done, I know he got the win, I know it wasn't close, I know it was wider than a lot of people had, but I'm still not impressed. I thought he should have stopped him after the 8th round. I thought he had him gone. All right, he hurt his hand, whatever. But the result still stands. The performance still stands. That's 2 lackluster performances for me. Not lackluster, but not eye-catching performances for me at heavyweight. And I just think he's too small. It's not a slight on him. I'm in love with his ability. I love what he can do in the ring. I love his personality and all that. But I just think he's in the wrong division. I think this case that the WBC are making for this dreadnought division is even stronger, looking at a fighter like Usyk who just cannot go up to 16, 17 stone. Like, what could he do with Fury? Fury will squash him like an ant, as good as he is. And AJ wouldn't be far behind, and Wilder would probably knock him out as well. I'm not sitting on the guy, but I just don't think he belongs at heavyweight. That's my overwhelming feeling from watching the fight.
I disagree on that Joshua show, though. Look, Anthony Joshua couldn't pin Joseph Parker down. But Parker, he could not get to grips with Parker moving around. And Usyk's a weapon from Joseph Parker.
I think if AJ's tactics in that fight is he'd have to stand on Usyk. I don't think he could let him get settled and let him box rings around him. I think he'd have to get on him early. And I think in an explosive start, AJ'd have the edge there.
I don't think he'd do it, though. I think he's wary about getting hurt. Look at the last Andy Ruiz fight. He just boxed on the back foot because he did not want to get caught.
No, and he looked ragged when Ruiz hit the bed there big time, right? He's instrumental in his own downfall. Shout out to Bill O'Hurley. He's instrumental in his own downfall there. But I just think he's too small. I just think he's too small to operate at the elite level. Like I said, 6 pounds is massive in elite sports. 12 pounds, 13 pounds, 30 fucking pounds, 40 pounds. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's too much.
Andy, same to you. Power, chin, stamina, strategy, size. You want to tick any boxes for Usyk?
Stamina will always be there. Chin seems pretty okay. It says he's banged the Gazev, so you see what Gazev did tonight. Power, I think he hits hard enough, but I just think, end of the day, if you're hitting like an 18 stone guy and that, you're going to feel it. And if you can't get him out of there, you just rely on what you do best. And he's went through the amateur code doing it. He's won Olympics, Worlds, Europeans, National Championships. I don't know if you heard me there, actually.
Yeah, we can hear
you. Look, I just think at this point, outside of Fury, as I say, he beats Joshua, possibly. As I say, outside of the A2, I think he beats everybody else, possibly. Maybe know them all. As I say, maybe Wilder kind of detonates a shot on him. Maybe Povetkin could land something on him as well. It could maybe turn his lights out and that. You just don't know. But all in all, stamina is pretty good. Power, no. Probably no. Chin's pretty decent. But it'll be interesting to see what it'd be like if Joshua was to land a huge right hand on him and stuff, or a straight right hand. See what he would just see how he would react. I mean, we saw it with Lopez, for example, with Lopez Lomachenko. When Loma took that power, he backed off pretty quick and didn't really done much for the next 4 or 5 rounds. And that. So it was interesting to see how Usyk would adjust and adapt to that type of thing.
Rob Cheshire in the chat says Caldwell is too close to Tony Both had Chisora winning. Yeah, they're all too close to each other. It's all become a bit incestuous for my liking. They're all mates, aren't they? They're all pals, which is fine. But to a point, you need someone who's going to speak a bit of truth. We're trying to speak a bit of truth. BS isn't happy.
Did you hear Bellew? Did you hear Bellew in the corner shouting in the corner? Get him in the corner and keep him there.
Idiot.
Fucking hell.
He does my head in. Joe Asser keeps asking who won. I don't know what you mean, Joe. Did you not watch the fight? I think you're in the wrong place. Maybe you need to go and give your head a shake. Right, anyway, let's get on to the undercard then, shall we? Oh, I'm sorry to have to do this to you all. First of all, Aussie to you, thinking Kambosos Selby. I was flicking in and out of this one. I thought Kambosos would win the fight, being a bit younger and a bit fresher. Selby's maybe had his time, hasn't he? The thing I was going to say about the women's boxing is, I mentioned it before, it's not because they're women. I don't give a shit about what gender they are. I don't care whether they're women, men, dwarves, transgender, anything. Well, that's a debate for another night. But anyway, it's not the fact they're women. It's just not good. It's not very good. It's like when they used to sell the old WBU and IBO title fights to us and tell them they're world level. Tell us Ricky Hatton fighting Dennis Holbeck Pedersen is a world level fight. I mean, Savannah Marshall's a good fighter. This girl she's fighting is 9-5. You're talking 3 fights away from the top of a main event of a pay-per-view. I mean, let's get a bit of context here. I mean, was it Ali you call the girl? Fair enough, let's have her debut, have her moment. She's fighting in a 6-2s, 5 fights off the main event of a pay-per-view. People are paying 20 quid for this shit, man. Can't they stick them somewhere else? We shouldn't have to watch this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I said it last week on our pod that every time Hannah Rankin steps up, she gets beat. And not just doesn't get beat, but well and truly outclassed as well. This is the issue about women's boxing. The depth is not there. So it's like you've got Hannah Rankin. I think this might be the 3rd world title she's challenged for now in what she had now, 13 fights. And basically she goes away. She gets a win against some absolute no mark and then is eligible to challenge for a world title. We know Marshall's decent. There's one fight for her, and that's against Clarissa Shields. But you're right. Look, 50% of the fights on here were contested by women today. And the standard's just not good enough for when you're paying 20 quid for it. I mean, I thought the card as a whole was shy. You lost 2 fights. One was Cash Farouk against some just journeyman. Fine. It adds no value to the card whatsoever. And the other fight was fucking Dave Allen against Christopher Lovejoy. Shite. Again. So the card itself was just garbage. But the fact that, again, you've seen fucking Marshall against Rankin, there's, like 3 or 4 fights off the main event. That Ramla Ali, fine, as you say. She can have a moment, fine. But she shouldn't be part of the broadcast. But put her on early. Like, no one cares about watching that. And then Timlin Skelly. It wasn't a bad fight by all accounts and stuff. But again, it's like pay-per-view is there to make proper fights. And I get there's no crowd there and things like that. But fuck me, he'll sell this now today by technically on paper, on accolades, the best fight on that card was Savannah Marshall and Hannah Rankin because there was a world title on the line there. If we're just looking at it on paper, and then the next one was Tommy McCarthy against Bilal Lagoon because that was a European title. The Chisora Usyk fight was just for a ranking belt. That's it. And that's exactly what it is. Chisora's, well past it. Should not be headlining pay-per-views. And nor should we be seeing, just substandard fights all the time because the depth just isn't there. Put, what's her face? Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron on an undercard. Great. That's the sort of fights we want to be seeing because they're competitive and they're good fights. Savannah Marshall against Hannah Rankin, absolutely not. And I just have no interest in seeing stuff like that. Absolutely no interest.
Andy, anything from the undercard for you? Yeah, Royston Cropper says Selby did a 2-minute, 2-minute women's round. What was that all about? There was like a 2-minute round, wasn't there? I thought, what do you call him? Ahmed Ono jumped in the ring and started ringing the bell or something.
I didn't see that, because obviously the Gazev fight was kind of like in between. I think it was a Selby fight anyway, or just before it. I can't mind, but I thought Kambosos won it. I don't know if I've totally misread that fight, and as I say to you guys, it's not a fight I want to go back and watch unless it's absolutely contentious. But I'm seeing scorecards for that fight all over the gaff. Phil Edwards with the Billy Britt scorecard 115-114, and then you got the wide 118, 110. I don't think it was that wide, but I thought Kambosos won the fight. Laguna, McCarthy. I thought McCarthy might have kind of fell short in that. I don't know what happened to Laguna. It was a right uppercut, actually, wasn't it? It seemed to kind of like, I don't know if it landed in his eye or a part of the glove maybe kind of got into his actual eye and maybe damaged it or scraped his eyeball or something. But he kind of like, I don't know, he took a round off and he tried to kind of maintain it and that. But I thought in the end McCarthy was a worthy winner, and that's what I watched actually. Because the other three were all women's fights, I think. Yeah, so I pity anybody that paid for it. It was one of those, I said to these last weekend that I could have potentially bought a stream for a couple of quid. I didn't even do that. Selby did what I expected, and it was a 12-round kind of like, just to me, as I say, Selby has spent too long at featherweight. He's cut weight drastically. He's looked ill sometimes at that weight, and then he's filtered the liver, having to go through 12-round fights and stuff. I just think he's left it too long to kind of move up in weight. And he's, as I say, it says it all. What is he now? 32, 33 maybe? He's jumped 2 weight divisions, and had proper time to kind of bed in. People say that maybe Burns beat him. I think he's done. Especially kind of like challenging for world titles. He might do okay at European. I think he's done, to be honest with you. Was not a good performance for me. As I say, some people have got him winning that fight. So as I say, I'd maybe missed something. I'm not too sure. I don't know how you guys scored it, but I think Kambosos winning that fight.
I thought Kambosos was winning as well. I think he's 33, Andy, as well, for the record. He does look a lot healthier. I suppose that's one thing, but I don't know what they're going to do with the likes of Selby. Fair play to Tommy McCarthy for beating Lagoon. I thought the fight was a little bit closer than people might have thought. Anything from you, Danny, on the undercard? I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. I didn't really see Skelly against Timlin. I've already moaned about everything else. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
It was poor, mate. It was really poor. But, Big Mick has saved the day, and we've got Gervonta Davis versus Santa Cruz, and what's that, in about 4 hours' time? So
praise Mick, yeah.
All how Big Mick. Yeah, no, it's terrible. It's terrible. And then you've got next Sky card. I know it's free, but you've got three women's fights on that one as well, I think, haven't you, or something like that? It's just it's dire. It's absolute a shit show, and this is why I don't have Sky anymore. I don't have Sky. I don't have BT Sport, and if I want to watch something, I'll pay £4 for 24 hours and catch it. And that's the best way to be, because I'm not getting mugged off like paying £120 a month for shit like this and then having to pay an extra 20 quid on top of it. It's not acceptable. I'd sooner have paid 20 quid to see the 45 seconds of Gassiev tonight than I would have done for that.
Good old Gassiev up at heavyweight. Looking forward to that one. Coogan's Waterbill says Fat Mick is underappreciated. Absolutely. Fat Mick linking up. Fat Mick linking up with Al Heyman. That's like my dream matchmaking partnership, that is. Right, there's thousands of people listening. Let's hit the like. See if we can get over 100 likes tonight. Come on, hit a like, hit a dislike.
Pledges, bitches.
No super chat pledges whatsoever. Andy, they got no appreciation for us whatsoever.
Keep the lights on, you bitches.
Right, come on.
Who's going to pay our water bill this month?
Another 5 or 10 minutes to go, and then we're going to wrap up because I've got to go to work tomorrow morning. I'm tired now. Right, wrapping Rob Kelly. No point in asking you about the undercard, but did you see anything in the undercard?
Well, my big mate Tommy was winning his European title tonight, so he told me during the week that if he wins, he's getting a verse on my next album. So his rapping is about where I am in the European rankings. So, but anyway, congratulations to the big man. I thought the fight could have been. Can you hear me now? Because the wind is taking up.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
So yeah. So I thought there was a bizarre moment in the fight where the fucking opponent called his own timeout and Victor Loughlin allowed it. And they had a 5-minute look into the guy's eye until he decided he was going to continue. And then if he'd have got it on the cards, man, that would have been uproar after that, because that was fucking outrageous. Loughlin should have just stopped the fight. The fighter can't call his own fucking timeout, man. Jesus Christ, when did you ever see that?
He's sly, Rob. He is sly, that guy, because he made it out like it was his eye, and he just called himself a breather, really.
Yeah, just copped the breather in the middle, but he was an awkward big horse of a lad with a herky-jerky style that could cause problems for fellas, but yeah, that was semi-entertaining. I mean, Tommy, I think, has stuff to do in the gym. Hopefully we'll have him on next week to talk about it, but The fact that the women's cards then were making up the running, like, I mean, Mick Conlon is Tommy Mack's big friend, and he even tweeted out, "This is a fucking horrible pay-per-view." So, like, you know what I mean? That says it all, doesn't it?
Am I the only one that thought his opponent looked like a Mo Salah on steroids?
I hope he kept the receipt for them steroids.
Oh, Salah. Oh, Salah.
Jack was on the call with us. He seems to have disappeared. Jack, come back if you want to. If not, we'll see you again another time. Yeah, Phil Edwards. Bit of shit on him, Aussie, quickly before we wrap up for that 115, 114. What am I moaning about now? What card was that? Was that the Selby one?
It was Selby card, aye.
Fucking travesty again, mate. And I get sick of talking on it because I'm like a broken record, and we end up talking about fucking shit cards every week. And it's the British. Fucking, we had fat Terry O'Connor a couple of weeks ago ripping off Miguel Vasquez. You had fucking Phil Edwards ripping off George Kambosos Jr. Now, fortunately for Kambosos, it didn't cost him. But I mean, it says it all when you get the fucking head of the British Boxing Board of Control, what's his name, Robert Smith, coming out saying, well, people like that, you know, like people on social media, they've had a few beers, they don't have a fucking clue what they're saying. No, you old fucking cunt, you don't have a clue what you're saying. You're a fucking clown backing up Fat Terry all the time saying it was subjective, so it's fine the way he scored the fight. Likewise with Selby as well. It's an absolute travesty, the scoring over here. And I say it again, good luck to anybody coming in the away corner, because you're going to need it, because the cards in the UK now are some of the worst to be had. And unless you have either got to knock your opponent out or completely outclass them. I mean, come on, look tonight. Oleksandr Usyk apparently beat Chisora by, what, a couple of rounds? Rubbish. It was far wider than 2 rounds. Fuck me, even Sky, Macklin and Adam Smith, Beanie, were saying, you know, like Usyk's out completely outclassed Chisora. So have it 2 rounds, eh? And then you've got pundits going fucking Caldwell saying Chisora won. Bellew, Chisora won. Honestly, it's a travesty. It's like, you know, you're trying to be told something that you can watch and you're seeing it. No, Joe Bloggs is getting beat or he's winning. No, you need to believe what we say. It's like, you know, a dictatorship is there. You will listen and you'll believe what we say. It's an absolute joke.
Absolutely. It's the call. You know what it is? Let me show you exactly what it is. It's the call to the Bean Masons, the secret order of the Bean Masons. That's what's going on over at Sky at the moment. Right, let's wrap it up then. Doesn't look like anybody else is coming on. J Don says you a lot are haters. Well, yeah. Last King of Scotland says shocking, absolutely shocking. Barry Skelton's knocking about in there as well. Marty Smith, Callum B. Rob, were you impressed at Selby coming out to Big L, Rob? Rob, were you impressed at Selby coming out to Big L?
Absolutely. Big L, rest in peace. One of my big influences. I remember almost breaking the rewind button back in the day when the first time I heard Big L, but that was about the highlight of it for Selby on the night. I thought he boxed all right, man. In the rounds that I only saw the last 4 rounds, so I'm going to go back and watch it because Andy had it 8-2, I think, to Selby after 10 rounds. And, you know, I thought he showed shades of maybe this pulling the Sky narrative when he was on Sky against in the Ryder Callum Smith fight. But I was surprised tonight that he got it that far wrong. And Halling was having a mare all night, by the way. We get to that in Bellew of the Week tomorrow. But Andy's normally pretty on the money, so I'm going to go back and watch it because there's a lot of split opinions on Twitter. So I want to see. I don't want anyone to influence it. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Rob's going back. You can never go back. Let's go forward then, boys. On to tomorrow night. Don't forget to join us for episode 397 of the Boxing Asylum Cortez podcast. Hit that like, hit that dislike, leave us a comment. Come on the call tomorrow night if you wish. Let's get some closing comments from everybody then. Starting with you, Danny Young. Pleasure as always to have you with us. Tell us where you think Usyk should go next, where he will go next. Same for Chisora, and your overriding thoughts from the evening, please.
Usyk to progress, to build up in the heavyweight division. I'd rather see him face some people, some contenders before he gets, and I don't think he's going to get the AJ fight or Fury. I think he's going to have to wait. So that'll be that. Chisora, I don't want to see him wheeled out again. I'm done with him. I've seen it. He's been wheeled out about 4 times, 5 times now. That's enough for me. But Yeah, and all thanks for having me on, Steve, and I'll catch you boys probably tomorrow night.
No problem. Love and peace to you, Danny. Andy, same to you then. Usyk next, Chisora next, and overriding thoughts.
Shit pay-per-view. Disappointed Usyk didn't get the stoppage. Naturally, I need to stand by that. Next for Usyk, I think well, I said it last week. Politically, I think there's going to be a day of reckoning coming here. I think Usyk might push it. Depends. But obviously, Joshua's got to get his business sorted out as well. And I don't know what's happened with Fury in that contract with Wilder. So wait and see about that. And Wilder will be get up for belly of the week next week as well. Tomorrow. Chisora, I don't know. As I say, he'd be ideal, I think, for the likes of Hergovich. Guys like that, maybe. Yeah, he'll get recycled by Eddie. Eddie's green piece after all. Maybe a Joe Parker.
Yeah, Parker. Just going to say that, Andy. That would actually be decent for Usyk, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Parker's got to take business against Junior
Fowl,
Fowl, actually, so it's all amateur rival. So, yeah, I mean, I again, as I say, Dell will get opportunities if he wants to continue. I mean, he was in great condition, obviously. I mean, he as I say, but I think at this point he would just basically be cannon fodder for like most people in that. And I say at a certain level, if he's up for it, he'll probably win a fight in that. But he just does what he does. He plods forward, throws winging shots and stuff, and then when the tank goes, he's got nothing really off the list to offer other than balls and guts. Really, that's it.
Absolutely, Aussie. Usyk 33 needs to get his skates on, says Tommy Hagler. Who else have we got here? Parker agrees, says Take Ames. Go and check out Take Ames, his channel. He was live streaming tonight. Go back and listen to that if you dare. Aussie, same to you then. Usyk, Chisora, and overriding thoughts from this evening.
I think Chisora boxed like it was his last fight. I wouldn't be shocked to see him call it quits. Motivation's a big thing for him, and is he going to be up for fighting? Going in as like a look. He's going to be the non-favourite in the Usyk fight, but then will he want to be up for the likes of Parker, Hergovich? I'm not too sure. I think I'd like to see him walk away. He's had a good career, nothing, so great. Let's see him go. And for Usyk, he can't do anything more. He's mandatory challenger for Anthony Joshua. Will we see that fight next? I'm really not sure. So the likes of maybe Fat Andy Ruiz, Povetkin's tied up, so Ruiz, maybe the Hunter rematch, that'd be interesting. Hunter's, revitalised at heavyweight. Hunter's not the biggest of heavyweights either, so that'd be interesting.
The other thing, Aussie,
they've already fought as well, haven't they?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you talk about, say Joshua vacates the belt, number 2 is Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
So if he takes care of business against Joyce and stuff, would you want to see that straight away?
Tough, very tough for Dubois.
Exactly, but
very, very tough.
This is what we're talking about.
Mm.
You think Frank would make that fight?
He said he would, but look, boxing promoters say one thing and then do the complete opposite. I think when the opportunity comes about, we'll ultimately wait and see. But look, they fancy Dubois big time. They really do back him. Really, really back him. Look, he's big, strong, got a good jab, can punch. It'd be tough. I really rate Usyk, and I think his boxing ability is class. And I just think he'd be too polished for Dubois at the moment. Dubois, what is he, 22? I think it will be too early at the moment. But then look, that could be another year off yet, type of thing, 6 to 8 months. And Dubois is only going to get, mature, get bigger, stronger. And Usyk's only going to get, older. I just hope injuries don't mar Usyk going forward. I hope it's just like a busted hand and that's it and it recovers. But I'd like to see him get the Joshua fight without a doubt. If not, and it means we get Joshua Fury, then maybe some of the likes of Hunter in that rematch. There's not really much else knocking around, is there? So yeah, maybe Michael Hunter, Joseph Parker, Luis Ortiz. Any of those, why not?
Wrapping up, Kelly. What about you then? How do you see the boys going forward? Oh, Rob seems to have disappeared. This is unfortunate, isn't it? With his new BBC tones as well. Let's see if we can get him back on the call here, shall we? Add connection. No, don't do this to me, Rob. Oh, you're back. Go on, Rob.
I think the smart money would be for Usyk to capture this Dreadnought WBC belt. To say he's the first cruiserweight Dreadnought, and then inevitably version of the heavyweight championship, because he's not getting a crack at the heavyweight title in the next year. Like, so rematches and all that, you're going to think that the smart money would be pick up the title there, then go back up to fighting heavyweights. Like I said to you, I don't want to beat around the bush about it. I just don't think he's gonna. I just think he's too small to compete at elite level at heavyweight. Like.
Good stuff. Jack's on the call now. I doubted your credentials, Jack. You've stepped up to the plate as mandatory challenger here. Commendations for that. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. And to tell you the truth, I did enjoy the card.
Did you really? Did you buy it, yeah?
I did, mate. Yeah, I paid the 20 quid because, we can't all be tight cunts, can we?
Well, we can, yeah?
Well, we can, but, listen, mate, Usyk Chisora, let's be honest, it's not the best fight that we could have ever hoped for, but if we wanted an opponent that Usyk was going to face, it would be someone like Chisora, someone that would bring the heat, someone that was game. I know we heard David A and all the rest of them selling the fight, talking all that bullshit, but, fair play to Usyk. What I will say is, look, he's not going to do nothing at heavyweight, because if you look what Tyson Fury done to Chisora in that second fight, he made it look easy, didn't he? And, he had a bit of a struggle tonight, didn't he, old Usyk? So,
what are you drinking tonight, Jack?
Just on the Fosters, mate.
The boys are saying you're on the old Super Kestrel here.
I thought it was the Super Tenants you were on there, actually. Is that the pint cans of Fosters you're on there, eh?
Oh, mate, pint cans of Fosters. But,
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's not be too hateful on it. It was all right. It weren't too bad. I like the Savannah Marshall fight. Thought she done real well, mate, to be honest. I thought she done real well. I enjoyed it. I've never seen a woman box like that before.
Takes two to tango, though, doesn't it? What about the opponent for Savannah?
Well, look, can you,
This is pay-per-view we're talking about.
It is a pay-per-view, and, but then again, it is women's boxing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look about fucking Katie Taylor and that opponent that she had fucking twice in a row. A lot of people thought that she lost it, didn't they? You know what I mean? So, It's women's boxing. It's a load of fucking bullshit.
Are you going to be getting on board the women's boxing scene from now on then, Jack? Are you a convert?
Well, mate, no. Tell you the truth, women's boxing, it's fucking shit, ain't it, really?
But you just said you enjoyed the Savannah Marshall fight, though.
Well, I did, but that was because of her boxing and the style that she brought, I feel like most women in boxing, most of the fights are terrible, aren't they? Let's be honest. But, the way that she boxed tonight, it was good to see, to be honest. And you definitely see that style that she's got. I don't see anyone beating her. Clarissa Shields, I think she'd get outboxed, mate. Outboxed.
Do you think so?
I think so, yeah. I really do. She might come forward and throw loads of punches, but I just feel like Savannah Marshall has got too much for her.
Right, we've got another guest on the call here, so I'm going to have to let you go, Jack, but I'm going to give you a pat on the back for coming on and manning up. Fair play to you. You came on and you're doing your best, so fair play, dude.
No problem. Cheers, boss.
Take it easy. Cheers.
Hannah Rankin sounds like a fucking dance hall act from the 1990s.
They were playing Bewitched on the radio earlier, Rob, Do you remember that? The roller coaster.
Fight Like Me Dad as well. Actually seen the brother. The brother was in Boyzone, wasn't he? I was at a gig in 1999 in the Temple Theatre at the after party at the fucking MTV Awards, and Shane Lynch from Boyzone had a fight with Puff Daddy in the fucking VIP, man. There was white coats flying everywhere. You want to see it? It was fun. The next day they had a headline in the paper said, Puff Paddy fights Puff Daddy.
Right. Yeah, fair play to Jack, genuinely, for coming on. He didn't have to, but he did. Having his breakfast there over in... He sounded like he was from my neck of the woods originally. John O'Donovan is on the call, friend of the pod. I haven't heard from you in a while, John. How are you keeping, sir?
All right, Steve, how's it going?
Not too bad at all. Did you enjoy the card tonight? What stuck out for you?
I just, like with the Chisora Usyk fight, I think the only thing that overly shocked me about it was that Chisora didn't get stopped, and to give him credit for that. But like, I don't know, Usyk getting hit and Usyk losing a few rounds in anything new. I don't think it's a sign of anything like that he's not able for heavyweight. We've seen it before, like the tough fight against Bradis, last a few rounds against Bellew, had a Michael Hunter putting on him a bit, but I think like comparing Chisora to the likes of Joshua, like I think Ozzy made the point earlier, like Usyk is a very good fighter, but Joshua is not going to come at Usyk in the same style that Chisora did, like what Ozzy was saying about Joshua being a bit, maybe not gun shy, but like he's very afraid to get hit, and I think that happened even before the Ruiz fight. I think since the Klitschko fight, Joshua has been very averse to getting hit at all. So I don't know that size is going to come into it that much, but I don't know. Overall, I think like I thought he'd stop Chisora fair play for staying out 12 rounds, but I don't know. It just wasn't this big shock to me like that Chisora won a few rounds. I knew Chisora was going to come out fast and hard, but like Chisora was gassed after about 3 rounds. Like fair play for staying in there. Like, but I remember watching. I don't know if it was the end of the third or fourth round. Chisora looked like he was limping back to his corner. Like, I don't know. I don't think the fight like needs like kind of the over analysis that's going to happen. And to be honest, like on Twitter and stuff, like I think Usyk won the fight clearly. Chisora won a few rounds fair play, but didn't think it was that big of a deal. And like obviously the likes of Bellew then afterwards, like saying and Dave Colwell, but overall I don't know. Usyk looked good, but I thought he should have stopped him, all right.
Yeah, John just summed it up perfectly, a lot more succinctly than I did earlier on. Exactly. There's no big deal here. Usyk won. He got through. Chisora put up a good display. I think he's spot on there. Should we be too surprised about the fact that Usyk's power didn't really travel? Because he wasn't really stopping the elite guys at cruiserweight either, was he?
That's the thing. Like, it's not like I think that's the kind of point I was making. That there was nothing shocking about like his heavyweight performance. As you said, like it's not like he was blowing people away at cruiserweight either. And to be fair to his credit, he did shake up Chisora a few times. The one thing I would say that I did like that was obvious was that he definitely felt it to the body a few times with Chisora, and that maybe that's something going forward. But other than that, as you said, I don't find anything overly shocking. Like,
anything from the undercard before we finish up for the evening, John? I think we're losing Ozzy there. He's going. Thanks, Ozzy, for jumping on. Go ahead, John.
Not a whole lot. As you said, it wasn't a great undercard. Tommy McCarthy and his fight against I can't remember your man's name. That fight probably should have been stopped in the 6th round. Your man kind of turned around. That should have been stopped. But other than that, a poor undercard. Being honest, I thought Savannah Marshall was very good. The Selby Cambosis fight was hard fight to score, not a great fight to watch. But other than that, it was a poor undercard. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway, the likes of Bellew shouldn't be on fucking Sky pay-per-view if he's gonna just fucking like if you're not friendly with Chisora, like you shouldn't be fucking on pay-per-view television. Do you know what I mean? Giving your punditry like it's a bit of a joke, like
Well said. Good to have you, John. Good to hear from you. Glad you're keeping well, sir. You're welcome anytime. You know that.
All right, cheers, Steve. All the best, lads.
All the best. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye, though. John O'Donovan there. Hamed jumping in the chat. Just fine. I always love a clarification. We'll catch this tomorrow on Spotify. My phone died. I was watching the fight on my TV, connected via my phone. So thanks for that clarification, Hamed. I haven't seen Chukru in the chat tonight, but no doubt he's listening up somewhere. BS is having a mare in there tonight. He's having a bit of a meltdown to himself. Why don't you jump on the call, BS? We'll hear from you tomorrow night, maybe. Who knows? Episode 397. Thanks to Andy for jumping on tonight. Rapping Rob Kelly, Danny Young, Smido, Ozzy. Jack was with us as well. So was John O'Donovan. Anybody else? No, sorry if I've forgotten you. Thanks, everybody. Leave a like, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a comment. Go and wank yourselves off if you want. Enjoy yourselves. I've been Steve Wellings. Catch you all tomorrow night. Bye.